Well, hello everyone, my name is Colby Wagner and I'll be your host today. I'd like to thank you all for joining us for this special event. Today's webinar is being sponsored by Mediware and RockPond Solutions and will outline the 5 ways to eliminate manual reporting using real-time business intelligence. For those on the call that may be unaware, RockPond Solutions is Mediware's exclusive business intelligence partner that delivers custom business intelligence tools that help today's home medical equipment, home infusion, and specialty pharmacy providers convert their data into insight. They have lots of tools to help do this, such as reporting, custom reporting, dashboards, analytic cubes, and other data movement tools that really simplify complicated data sets to provide end users more value out of the data that they have, or they can also consolidate multiple data points and align all this to their organization. And joining us today for this webinar is RockPond COO John Love, who will outline how you can really save hours each week using automated reporting tools. So before we get started today, just want to note that all lines have been muted with the exception of our presenter. Also want to remind you about the questions tab that you'll find on the right side of your screen. We welcome your questions and hope that you'll just type those in as they come to mind today. And we'll wait until the end of the presentation to get to these questions. So we'll wait for that moment there and we'll get to all of those. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to John.
Thanks, Colby. I appreciate that. Hi, everybody. My name is John Love. I am the CEO of RockPond Solutions. Very glad to be here. I am a little under the weather, and so I may cough at you. I apologize in advance for doing so. Again, excited to be here to talk about business intelligence. It's what we do at RockPond. It's what we're really excited about. It's kind of it's all we do. And so we're looking at 5 ways, and so there's probably 27 ways to do this job, but we're going to look at 5 that we have found in 17 years of business at RockPond of being the core. And those are to, if you can auto schedule it, do it. Do we have ability to see exceptions? And we'll talk a little more about that, but reporting that tells us where we've made mistakes and processes. Big picture dashboards that you know, in the past time we spent a lot of time doing manual labor to get big numbers and metrics, and is there ways right out of the gate that we can get those? We need to have the ability to do detailed analysis, and so we're going to look at detailed analytic cubes for the systems, as well as powerful and custom ad hoc analysis, meaning build your own reporting. And so we have that ability too, and we'll talk about those 5 major ways. And the first thing I want to do is talk just in general about a couple things about the BI system. It is available for all 4 home care systems for Mediware. That's available for Care10. It's available for CPR Plus, for Home Care 360, and for Fast Track. And I know we're talking IV today, and so we'll talk a little more about that as we look at that. Obviously, it's available for those systems that are in different industries. We built it for all 3 of the industries that Mediware serves here in the home care, which is IV, and that's what we're talking about today, but HME and specialty, and I'm certain many of the people on have multiple lines of business. And so available in all 4, and and just talk about why we're here. We're here because manual labor is a risk, and it's a risk more than you probably think it is. It's a risk in a couple of different ways, because people get very good at it, and we have highly paid, highly intelligent people still doing things in Excel and Access that our system needs to do for us. Number one is it just takes too long. It just takes way too long to get the data that we need. So the highly intelligent, highly paid person is spending the bulk of their time trying to make data work instead of operating off what data says. Number 2, what happens if that person leaves? I can't tell you how many times a week somebody calls and says, hey, I know that we said that we didn't need your product because Sue was great or Bob was amazing. They left yesterday. We have no idea what we're doing. And so we would rather, as you look at your system, as you look at the Care10 system, and I hope that all of you are looking at the Care10 system and you look at the next gen technology, that you'd begin to use a vendor to produce a lot of your data needs. And that way you avoid the risk of paying people to do a lot of manual labor that we've already done out of the box. And you also avoid the risk of putting all your eggs in one basket. And so those are the 5 things we're looking through, as well as the reason we're talking about manual labor and being a risk today. And so we're going to start moving through that. And so this is going to be Care10 BI, a live demonstration. Colby's going to share my screen. I'm ready to go. Colby, can you verify you can see that?
Yeah, it looks good.
Great. So everybody, you're looking at Care10 BI. Again, we built Care10 BI. It's for business intelligence for the new Care10 product. And to give you the history of that, and because somebody asked me the other day, why do you have Care10 BI for Home Care Net? Why do you have Care10 BI for CPR Plus? Well, we built a brand new system that was best of anything we've ever done. And we put it inside Care10, and it operates right in the middle of it. But we also decided, since we had a data structure we could work off of the legacies, why not pick that up and give people a piece of the future today? And so one of the ways we wanted to do that was to hand you the business intelligence you'll be using maybe in 6 months when you buy Care10, maybe in a year, depending on what your process is. You could use that today and get all of the new features and functionalities. And the day you go to Care10, that's one less thing you have to train on. So that's why you'll hear me talk about Care10 BI for CPR Plus, or Care10 BI for Home Care 360 or Fast Track. And so, hey, a couple disclaimers right out of the gate that you're going to look at. I will operate off test data in the system, so it won't add up. And so you should kind of just expect that the numbers won't add and won't make sense. We're only going to look at about between 1% and 2% of the product, and so that'll be a little bit off as far as if you're saying, hey, I want the most complete understanding of what this thing can do for my business, then we would encourage you to look at a personal demo where we can show you a lot more. Today we're gonna roll over because we're gonna talk about those 5 areas. I'm gonna go over them again: auto-scheduled reporting, real-time exception reporting, big picture dashboards, detailed analytic cubes, and custom ad hoc report analysis, meaning build your own reports on the ad hoc on the fly. So let's start and talk about our first one. So auto-scheduled reports. So most of the people we work with wear 9 hats. And oftentimes they're a slave to their calendar. I think we all are. But at a certain point, they kind of get into a spot where they can't always remember what they needed to do. So what we've done is produced auto scheduling. So I'm going to go ahead up here and hit this little button up here, and it says jobs and tasks. And there's a difference between a job and a task. And again, this is all test system, so you'll see some things in here. So I'm going to show, and so I'll show all jobs. And you can see I have a few different things created in here. And so I've created a job versus a task. So let's talk about that. A task is one single content element: a report, a dashboard, a cube, a data grid. We just released those. I'm going to talk about those last. And I decided I want to auto schedule those. I can simply say, hey, I want to run this report before my meeting with this person every week. And so if I'm going to meet with my billers, I'm going to run this billing summary report, go ahead and auto schedule it and have it come to my desktop and my email 30 minutes at let's say at 2:15 every Tuesday, because I have a 3 p.m. meeting with all my billers. I don't have to remember that anymore. One of the most powerful things you can do is auto schedule, and we just automate the important. If you know you need to see it, if you know stakeholders need to see it, if your sales reps need to get their information like Monday at 8 a.m., auto schedule it. You don't have to remember. It will pick up fresh data and it'll go. But you can also do jobs. And what is the difference between a task and a job? Remember, a task is one single element. It's a dashboard or a report or a cube. A job is a group. So I might say, I want to run my month in, and I am tired of having to sort through and remember what I love for my month end. So I'm going to go ahead and set up a auto-scheduled job called month end, and it's made up of these 7 reports, these 5 cubes, and these 2 dashboards. That's my month end. It will run, and anytime I auto-schedule it, they'll all come together. So if you want to do a quarterly packet, if you want to do a monthly summary out to a stakeholder, the possibilities are endless, to be honest. But the difference is you can auto-schedule single tasks as well as full jobs full of different tasks as much as you want or as little as you want. I say that because not everybody wants to give everybody the ability to send data and auto schedule it. So you have that privilege to say, hey, you don't get to auto schedule anything, or but you over here, you do. And you might even say, I don't want you to send it to I want you to send it to a secure file, but you're not allowed to auto schedule it to your email. Or maybe you're allowed to auto schedule it, but only to your own email. We have so many different ways in order to meet whatever makes you feel comfortable security. So the first thing that we really land on is and I'll just say, I know there are a lot of RockPoint customers on this call. And if you're not auto scheduling, you are missing out on a lot of efficiency. It's incredible. I mean, you're talking about things like, hey, I know I need to take out the trash every Monday at 7 a.m., but I'm not going to just auto schedule it. Why wouldn't you? Anything that you're going to do that helps you, auto schedule it. It frees up so much time. It also allows you to stay on track, because every time there's a fire and you're off and you need to be over here because of a deadline, but something's going on and now you're off, we're off in the weeds, we can be brought back by that, because next thing you know, we get an email with an auto scheduled report, and we're like, oh, I got to get on that right now. That's due in an hour. And so it helps us keep on stat. It's kind of like having an employee. It's having an extra employee that always works, never takes vacation, never gets sick. So I want to encourage you, one, if you don't have BI, I want to encourage you, take a strong look at BI immediately. You need it. And so the other thing I want to do is I want to encourage you to auto schedule as much as possible. So moving on to the next thing, and I know we're going to have a lot of questions at the end, so just ask those questions. We'll get to them. The next thing we're going to talk about is exception reporting. So what do we mean when we say exception reporting? That's kind of a big thing here. So when we talk about exception reporting, we want to build reports that show us things that are exceptions, that are problems. Okay, so, and we know that. We want to continue to do that. One of the things we do at RockPoint, when we tell you, hey, it's a subscription base, and one of the reasons it's a subscription is because we're going to continue to get better. And one of those ways we get better is building real-time exception reporting. So I'm going to run something as simple as the profitability report. And so you'll see, as you can see, this is a profitability, and I've ran it by payer. But obviously, I could run it 1,000 different ways. The first way I might run it is say, go ahead and let me see it by therapy as well. Now I'm going to see that by payer within therapy. And so right there, I see no therapy at CodaSign. Okay, that's an exception. That's a problem. Somebody forgot to put therapy in there. We need to fix it. So great reporting finds your holes. It finds your process issues. Okay, we would find that in the cube as well. So that's the first way, but let's continue. Let's say that I continue to analyze this, and I was looking at certain things, and I wanted to look at Aetna because we have issues with Aetna. Okay, and I'm looking at different margins, and I see that we have problems over here in with some of our profit margins. So I want to go look at Aetna. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my main report, and I want to get better. And the way I can get better is simply by going, well, show me all invoices with no cost. Now, when I click that button, I'll find every place that my staff or myself forgot to put cost of goods in. I can't tell you the number of people I find stumbling around in the system trying to find their mistakes. You can auto schedule that report at the end of the day, and you can say, if we forgot to put cost of goods on anything, fix it. And when it comes to auto scheduling, when you set it up something like that, no news is great news, because if a auto schedule report doesn't come in, it means we didn't make the mistake. If it does, fix it before we get out of here. So you're looking at every place we forgot to put cost of goods. We can find it. We don't have to go look for them. They'll come to us. The needle comes out of the haystack. That's what's important. And so from there, maybe I say all invoices where cost is greater than expected. I might auto schedule that at the end of the week for this week and say every week I want to see every place we lost money. And I want to see in detail, why did we lose money? And obviously these are all just fake numbers, but let's just look at some things. So let's say right here with Ms. Jackson, we expected 6,600. Our cost was 75. I'm going to look at that ticket, and I'm going to see there's a $5,000 billable that's right there. That's marked unbillable. That's a mistake. That's a problem. Somebody made a mistake, but let's catch it early. See, exception reporting, and there's 1,000 different versions of these, but exception reporting allows us to see mistakes early, to see things that are outside of our normal process, to see things that we did not expect. And when we auto schedule them, we can see them very quickly, and we can stop things. And great business intelligence makes problems. There'll always be problems. Let's get them early. Let's not find, I think there was a day, and I think most people on the line know, there was a day where, the IV industry felt like the old United Way thermometer. We'd throw everything in there and hope at the end of the month it came out okay, that it went up to where, and we got our goals. We adjusted and we got it. No longer. We need to know on day 1, day 2, day 3 of the month, where are we at and what's our problems? How do we fix them? Who's responsible for them? So speaking of who's responsible for them, when we think about exception reporting, we're also talking about our people. So are you running productivity? See, our reporting, it knows exactly in BI your people and what they've done. So if I'm looking at the number of checks processed or payments made, denials by staff, adjustments by staff, transfers, I can see all of that. If I want to come back over here and say, and look at all the posting clerk productivity, or maybe I want to come over here and say, I want to see, let's see, I want to see employee productivity summary. So now I've looked at the posting clerk productivity, and now I'm going to go look at the employee productivity on the finance side. And so you can see I'm going to run everything from the year 2000 in my test system. And you'll see that run in live time. So now I'm looking at all my users. How much revenue did they book? Invoices did they work? Payments, adjustments, how many denials? How many manual notes entered versus how many patients did they touch during that time period? But I can go deep in that, because if we really have a question of what Charlie was doing and why Charlie did that, I'll just double click on that. You can see exactly how much revenue. Well, it was 2 invoices. What invoice were they? Right there. It's Risselman and Anna Louise Addison. And there's the transaction date and the transaction creation date and the amount. So 3 levels deep of reporting. So not just on our processes, but also on our people. If we want to know what our people are doing, we can see that. So it's incredible to be able to have exception reporting that just doesn't show you processes and where you've made mistakes, but shows you what your people are doing, and are they benchmarked against each other? Are they, what are your averages? Are you, when you say we need to hire more people, the first thing I want to do is go find out who's doing what and how much and at what level. So maybe you're also looking at something like, as you're thinking about IV, how many people are out there doing manual just to get to a net census? Well, I want to know how many admits and how many readmits and how many discharges and what's my overall net census. This is the type of reporting that's all built throughout the system. I can't tell you how many people told me, oh, man, that takes me like an hour a week to do. I've got to, build this and just tell you, so this is how many admits and this is how many discharges, so here's where we're at. Like, no, there it is. There it is. But let's not do it. Let's do it by, well, I want to know how many we did by referral source. Perfect. Let's do it by that. So here is best friends. And so we had 5 admits, no re, no dis. So we gained 5 this week. Central City, we had 6 admits. We lost 1 to discharge, so we're staying at 6. And here they are and their status, their start of care, sales rep, any kind of notes. Again, lots of people doing lots of work to get to numbers that already exist out of the box, particularly in the IV realm. If you're back on the finance side and you're talking about exceptions, then let's look at claims analysis. Claims analysis is like a 10,000-foot overview of your entire claim, okay? And so with the risk that's going on in the reimbursement areas, and nobody feels great about reimbursement right now, we need to be able to understand and analyze our total claims instantly. And a lot of people are trying to do this on the fly. And so I'm looking at a claims analysis, and you'll see the total expected, how much credit, payment and this is per payer type, percentage that was paid during that time period, percentage of adjustment, and then the balance percentage. But again, I'll just change that because I'm trying to analyze it. And so I'm going to change that to payer. And then I'm going to change it to, let's say, therapy. And now, again, I'm going to look at this and say, well, here's Aetna. We were talking about Aetna earlier, and we're talking a little bit about chemo. And so we got a $10,000 expected, and looks like 8% has been paid. We didn't adjust hardly anything. So, you know, what's going on there, and who is that for? And I'll just show the line item. And I'm going to go to Aetna and chemo. And there's the $10,000 right there. This is it. Who is the patient? There you go, right there. There's the date. There's the payer. There's the HCPCS we use, everything. So again, we want to see things all the way drilled down. We want to find our problems. We want to be able to do that in a system where it's connected to live data that we don't have to redo. And so that's real-time exception reporting. From there, we're going to move on to to big picture dashboards. There are a lot of work being done trying to go metrics. I can't show you near the amount of dashboards out of the gate, but I want to show you a couple things. Something like monthly new patients. It's going to auto-calculate every business day you have and how many you have remaining. Now, so in this one, it might say there's 22 days in May that are Monday through Friday, and you're 11 in, you got 11 more. Obviously, that's just test data, but it'll know that from the federal calendar. You'll be able to put in easily your admits, and then you're going to see your admit target, and then your admits, your projected admits, just an algorithm telling you exactly where you're going to go. Now, we don't tell you where you should go. We just tell you what the data says. You tell me whether this is good or bad. And then how many no-goes did you have, and what's your no-go percentage? Here's your no-go by reason all month long. And admits and no-goes the last 3 months versus your target. We allow you to make core versus non-core. Very important. You say these 5 therapies, these are the bulk of our profitability, but we have 11 total. Great. Well, the 5 are core, and the other 6 are non-core, and you're able to hit and say, I want the bulk of our business. I want 75% core, 65% core. That's how we'll stay in business. That's how we'll be profitable. And of course, you can have, if different lines of business, you can have no-goes by lines of business and admits by lines of business. But a lot of work is being done to get things that we already have for you right out of the gate. When we built pharmacy productivity, we built it in a way so you could see your staffing and your staffing models. So how many patients and how many therapy days and doses and tickets. And so what it does is it puts a calculation of, here is the amount of, during this time period, new and refill prescriptions dispensed for your different, obviously all test data, your different lines of business. And here's the staffing requirement. So in the back of here, it takes maybe 10 or 15 minutes for you to put a weight of minutes. So you would say a TPN takes this long on average, and a antibiotic takes this long. And so whenever that dispense comes up, it automatically applies your labor versus what you said it should take. So it tells you that you should have had, 3 hours in interval during this time period, and you should have had 26 in antibiotic. And then it gives you the employees required based upon what you said it should take your team to do per day of the week for both pharmacist, tech, and patient service representative. Now, the quick story is we had a huge hospital-based home infusion system or home infusion company who just had a culture, and the culture was hard to break. And the culture was that Friday was a huge busy day for them. And the problem gotten that they thought they might be overstaffed and understaffed in different spots. But until they ran this dashboard and realized that Tuesday was refill day, and they were staying until 8 and 9 and paying overtime, and Friday used to be bad, but because of some operation changes, it just wasn't that bad. It hadn't been for 2 years. But the culture said it was bad. We were constantly overstaffed on Friday, but nobody could do it until we saw it on a dashboard and knew that the data drove us there. So we took our people from Friday, we replaced them Tuesday. Everybody got out at 5 p.m. and everybody felt good. And we stopped paying any kind of overtime. That's one story. That won't be your story, but at least you can hear it from a live story of someone who took this and was able to break some culture down and do some things. You'll see your dispense count by staff, and then your days of the week. Do you really know what your heaviest day of the week is on average? And then non-dispense activity, dispenses by pump. Are you thinking about buying new pumps? Are you trying to figure out 46% of all of my dispenses are on this pump, and 23 are over here, and then of course by route. And so you're looking at big picture dashboards that drive you to metrics that takes forever for our staff to create. And we have a lot more than this, obviously, but in our time here, I want to keep it a little short just because I have 2 more to get to. So we've gone through auto schedule reporting, real-time exception reporting. Now we're at using big picture dashboards to drive metrics and to see things and break your culture. Now we're going to go to the ability to have detailed analysis. So we're going to go to our cubes. So I'm going to start out, and I'm going to get rid of a couple things, as we do, move a couple things around here. And I'm going to go to a profitability cube. Well, you can see right here that we've given you all these different date ranges right out of the gate, depending on if I want to do week to date, month to date. But I got to do a custom date range again for my test data. So let me run that real quick. All right, and so that should run, and while it does, I'm going to open this up, and you'll see that what we've done is give you all of the fields associated in a pivot table type analysis. Now this is for profitability. Obviously, we have them across the board. I'm also going to show a ticket one, but it's drag and drop functionality as I move this around, and so it's hardwired to produce our profitability. So I'm going to start with my invoice date build for the month. And there's my month, and I'm going to go say I only want to look at June. All right, there is June, and I want to look at my therapy. Now, we talked about having no therapy earlier. That's a problem. That seems to continue to be a problem. But what do? Well, we just grab our invoice number. Those are the invoices that don't have therapy on it. We don't have to look around for it. We just print it and hand it to somebody. Say, fix these and get it back to me. And because BI updates in live times, the moment it's fixed and you refresh, you'll now have invoice therapy on those. You find problems, you find them quickly. And so why do I have a duplicate here? I mean, I wonder if anybody here has 2 therapies they're working with. One is capital and one is lowercase, because somebody keeps doing something that we can't really figure out. We can find those things quickly in cubes. We can see them. But let's just keep going and say that we want to see, so there's our therapy, but we also want to see our let's see that we want to see our patients. So I'm going to see my patient full name based on therapy. I'm going to drive this off payer because we've been beaten up on Aetna. We'll just keep doing it. So I want to go look at all the Aetna that we did then. Okay, so that's all the Aetna. That's what we did. Those are our pay. What doctors were those on? Okay, looks like we had a couple different doctors there, and those were our patients. Perfect. Okay. And so no matter what, I'm now looking at my profitability and based upon my Aetna for June. And so I can get all the way down to, and here's the problem. Horace is the issue, or no, yeah, Horace, or I'm sorry, Anthony Rich is the patient that we actually wanted to go check. Let's drill down on Anthony here, and we have only Anthony, and let's see if we have any other therapies with him. Looks like we don't. And so I could go all the way down and then come right back up. I could, so no matter what I wanted to do, if I wanted to say, okay, we'll open that back up, or let's change over to my Medicare as well. So now I'm looking at my Medicare profitability for, let's just go to let's go to antibiotic. Now I'm looking at these 2 folks right here. So again, the ability to drill down to the level and come back, build my own reporting based upon whatever I need, that is detailed, powerful analytic cubes. So let's open that back up just because I want to rerun that off of all of my different payers, and I need to see that constantly. And I see that I don't have any invoice costs here, so I'm going to go ahead and put a format rule over here. Highlight every time that I don't have an invoice cost. When it's equal to 0, go ahead when I open this from now on, make it a red fill. I want to see every place that I don't have invoice costs. I want to see. You could build your advanced formatting as much as you want, but I'm going to save this, and I'm going to save it as a new layout. I'm going to call it payer / therapy review demo. And I'm going to save that layout, and I'm going to do what all of you do. I'm going to go and do one of the other 9 things I have to do today. And then someone's going to say, where are we at with the Aetna and the payer and all that stuff? You say a week later, I don't know, let me go back and check. It all comes back, but it comes back with fresh data. No more doing things in cubes or in Excel and saying, I don't know, I need to go build a spreadsheet for 2 hours and then I'll let you know. And, oh, would you like me to save this? I can save this. Or would you like me to change the date range? Just show me yesterday. So powerful, powerful things that are cubes. We have the same things in something like Ticket. If you open up the Ticket cubes, you'll see that inventory, your patient, all of your different payer information, your physician, and then we have this extra one, Ticket, days to build, Ticket billed by user, Ticket creator, Ticket HCPCS code. I mean, so you can build anything. So if you're wondering, well, how many cubes do you have? You could just go right out here and say, just show me all the cubes. And you can see profitability, denials, revenue, cash, adjustments, AR, NCPDP, and then from our IT side, our payers, our system users, our contacts, our physicians, so you can set up your system well, POs and inventory, and then from the ops side, dispense and outcomes and custom assessments and orders and tickets. And so, I mean, we have built all of these things so that you can stop doing manual process because you have detailed analytic cubes across your whole business that if there's not a field in that you think you need, you simply call us and we put the field in. We're constantly expanding the field so you can have what you need. So continuing to move to our last one, which is kind of ad hoc analysis and reporting, I want to talk about data grids. So we just produced data grids, and that's what you're looking at right here. So what is the difference? The first question I'll answer is, what is the difference between a data grid and an analytic cube? Well, analytic cube is 3D. So it allows me to, to drag and to drop and to do everything of that nature and to pull in, hey, everything from this patient state, and I only want to see Arizona. It's 3D. I can drag, I can drop, I can slice, and I can dice. The data grid is probably the most powerful thing we've ever built for you when it comes to our data solution here at RockPond, but it is a flat file 2D. We have decided to bring Excel to you. Everything that's in a cube will have a corresponding data grid. So every field that exists in a cube will all automatically exist in a grid. So here's the ability. So you need to report out things in advanced ways, right, into Excel. So a lot of people were taking our cubes, and as much as they love them, then they were pushing them out to Excel so they could what? They could rename, they could reorder, they could. So we brought Excel to you as a Medaware user. So now I can say, well, they want me to have the invoice date start of service first, so I'll just move that over there. And they actually told me that I don't need this, so I'll just hide that column. And you know what? Invoice start date of service, I'm going to go to my column settings. So invoice start date of service, they want that called date start. Okay, I'm going to apply that. Perfect. And so now that will change when I push it out to date start. So it gives me ability to hide any columns I want, to move anything around, to produce flat files in any format, and then to go to my column settings and say, well, I don't need to see this. You can hide that. You can hide that. I do need to create a formula, or I need to create a format type. And so I need to go ahead and produce a numeric or a date and time or a custom format because I'm going to do my own thing here. And I'm going to change the column name when we push it out to what the user wants. And so it gives you the ability to do all of the work you do in Excel except inside the system and tied to the data. So again, and then of course you can save your changes and then it'll save. And I can have all of my different layouts. So you begin to push out a revenue data grid exactly like a stakeholder or a pharma company or a payer or accreditation needs, and you no longer have to push out into Excel and hope that the data by the time you're done is up to date. Now you can do it live inside the data grid. You can build your own Excel type reporting as much as you want, save your layouts, share your layouts, and continuing to do all of the different things that you need to do. So we're very, very excited about data grids. And so again, let me go over that. So every time And let's just do what we did last time. Let's say, okay, so we have a data grid for everyone. What data grids are there? Same ones: revenue, profitability, NCPDP, denials, adjustments. And so all of those things are there. And so we have the ability, we have the ability to produce reporting off of all of these areas. And when we add fields to the cube, it automatically adds to the data grid. One way for you to slice and dice and do your analysis reporting, the other way for you to build flat files and push out to stakeholders instantly and build your own Excel type reporting. So again, auto schedule reporting, real-time exception reporting, big picture dashboards, detailed analytic cubes, and now data grids, which allow you custom ad hoc analysis through build your own reporting. So a couple of different things as we finish up and we get to questions. All right, the first one is we are going to give you the ability to build your own dashboards as well. And so as that comes and it's on its final stage, I expect it to, come out. It is absolutely in this quarter. And so you will have the ability to open up one of our dashboards and say, let's say it's this one, and say, we don't care about no-go. So I want to get rid of that, and I want to put my own element in there. Or use one of our templates to build your own, or build your own from scratch based upon our data model inside the BI. So you can build out what you need, again, inside of one single reporting and analytic and dashboard product and system that is hooked up to the live data. And you can do it at a fraction of the cost that you would do if you're going to use outside analytics companies who need to learn the business and the data structure, or doing it through your own labor. We operate off a 90-10 principle with BI, no matter what system you're on, and we invite you to challenge that. 90-10. 90% of your business intelligence can be done in here at 10% the cost of you trying to do it yourself. And we have a 1,000% batting average on that 90-10. So the last 10% tends to be really detailed and really custom to how you do business. And we can get that 90% too, but oftentimes it has to be custom. Or we handle the 90% so your team can handle the last 10. But what we want to do is put end users the ability out of the box to see complex data structures in a simple way that makes them efficient and more powerful at their job. It gets us our processes fixed, it gets our reimbursement together, and it allows us to stay in business in a very, very turbulent environment that we're in right now. So that is the 5 ways that we would recommend that you could eliminate manual, and really what is manual risk reporting and labor on your reporting side for IB. So Colby, I don't know where we are on questions. We may have 0. We may have more than that.
Yeah, perfect, John. Before we get into questions, we just want to do a quick poll. If you would like more information on CARE 10 based on what you saw today, if you can just respond to this poll you see on your screen, that would really help us know what kind of follow-up that you might need in the coming months here. Also, before we get into questions, we will go into the NHIA conference. Hopefully we'll see our customers on the call today and others in the industry at the NHIA conference next week. We will have a booth in addition to Rock Pond. So let's go on the slide on that. We're booth 307, and Rock Pond, John Love will actually be coming to the Mediware booth for our booth speaking sessions, and he'll go into more detail on CARE 10 BI on the 23rd from 2 to 2:30. You can stop by for that. We'll also have other sessions on CARE 10 as well throughout the conference. Rock Pond booth is also 210. You can go and stop by and talk to John and his team, and they'd be happy to talk a little bit more about your business needs. Also, finally, we will have a Mediware networking reception with MSD on Tuesday for our current customers and vendors and other people in the industry. So you can stop by the Mediware booth or the MSD booth to pick up your VIP pass, and we look forward to seeing you there as well. So thank you, audience, for responding to the poll. So now we will go into our questions time here. We have had a few questions come in, John. So the first one, can you go into some of the security for auto-scheduled reports outside of the organization?
Right. So we give you the opportunity to send those in a number of ways that you're comfortable with. You can send information via auto-schedule to an FTP site, to an SFTP site, another network location that's secure, or you can send it to an email and you can encrypt it. So you also get a, so it's up to you, again, depending on what your, I guess I would say your comfortability with allowing someone to send information. We see it all over the place. I will say this, our latest round of security and auto scheduling was built by basically to secure 4 of our hospital systems who really wanted this technology. But as we know, hospital systems have some of the most stringent IT issues that exist. So if it can get through there, it can get through anywhere. But it really is up to you to determine what you're comfortable with per person. So you may be comfortable with a senior level person sending certain things and other people not. And so again, I think I mentioned this, you could even say, I want you to have the functionality of auto scheduling so that you get more efficient, but I don't want you to send anything outside our network. So we literally have a button that you can say, I'd like to allow Fred or Joan to auto schedule, but only to their own email inside of our network. So nothing really ever leaves our site, but they can still gain the visibility of, I want to make sure I'm getting all my reports and I'm getting on the fly and I'm staying efficient. So we really meet you where you are. I can provide a document. Again, if anyone needs me, I'll just say that my direct number, again, John Love, my direct number is 501-232-4355, and my email is jlove, that's JLOVE, at rock-pond.com. If you would like to set up a call, if you'd like to set up a demonstration, or you just say, hey, can I get the tech specs on this so I can look over your security, because I know my IT will have questions, we'd be glad to provide that to you.
Okay, and our next question from a CPR Plus customer. Currently in CPR Plus Rock Pond Analytics, the cube layouts will populate with the filters you used the last time when you saved the layout. But if you add anything new, those items and insurance populate in the cube. Is there any way to prevent new items from being included in the cubes with CareTend and building out layouts in cubes?
I don't think that exists within BI. I think that doesn't happen within BI, but I'm writing it down just to be sure. And so if you want to send me an email for follow-up, but I'm pretty sure that that's just, I mean, again, if you have analytics, you have an older technology. So we've gone far beyond the ability in the cubes of what we released 4 years ago with analytics than where we are today.
Okay, and then can you clarify too for the audience as far as the CareTend VI, if this is an additional add-on to the CareTend system or if it is in the system itself?
Sure. Yeah, so CareTend, and here's the difference. So we have to change our thinking from where we all grew up in CAN reporting and things like that. That doesn't exist going forward. In today's world, you have to have a powerful business intelligence solution. CareTend BI is that solution, and it comes with every CareTend license. It is the only reporting solution that exists. So there isn't this, hey, I'm going to have this list of reports and things of that nature, and then I have this over here. No, this is it. We decided since we built that, why not give that back to the other systems for all those. We had a lot of customers who simply wanted it, and the adoption rate is pretty dramatic, to be honest. But inside CareTend BI is it. It's what you get. So everything I showed you, plus 1,000 more things, is what you get. It launches from within CareTend. We built it hand in glove to that system. We also just built it in a way that if we wanted to, and we obviously did, we could provide it back.
Okay, and as far as the dashboards that you showed, are those able to be refreshed every few minutes? Can you customize that, or do you have to click refresh each time?
No, it has a button on it that simply says how many minutes do you want it. So I think I have mine to refresh every 15 minutes. You could have yours refresh every minute, every 3 minutes. It's whatever you want. So once you type that in, it just stays there until you say, oh, that's too long. I thought I'd like that. So I'm going to move to 2 minutes from 5 minutes.
Okay, and then this question is just using the dashboards throughout the organization. So if you have like the billing department, pharmacists and different things, would the dashboards be able to set up just for those departments and what they need to track, or does everyone have to use the same dashboard?
No, we have so many data. That one of my problems whenever I do a webinar, I'm losing my corporate talk, Colby, forgive me, and I'm gonna kind of heart to heart here. Is that I just can't show you everything. We have so many dashboards, and we would encourage you. Look, and everybody on the line, I'll just tell you, a television used to cost $2,000. It costs $300. You can put up 4 televisions around your flat screens around your office and change your business. In billing and reimbursement, you could have up-to-date finances, DSO, AR running. Over there in ops, we could have, hey, where are we at in the workflow? How many scripts? How many things do we have that are over 2 days, tickets that are over 2 days old, unconfirmed? I mean, we could have all these different dashboards running at all these different places as well as executive, and everybody could be on board. And so you can use them multiple different places. We even have the ability if you want to push them out to multiple different televisions because we have a product inside this called a focus board that allows you to have this tiny little plug-in to a TV and basically push out wireless any kind of information you want. So yeah, I would agree with you. I would say no. You don't want people looking out over different things that they don't care about. We want to see exactly what department they're looking at, and we have a lot of dashboards, and unfortunately I just couldn't show you them all today.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks so much, audience, for your questions today. We hope that seeing a little bit of CARE 10 BI, you can see how it can really save you a lot of time with reporting and having that automated. If you do have any other questions that come to mind, you'd like our team to help you with those, there's some Mediware contact information there as well. Also, as you exit today, there's a short survey. If you'd like more information from us and further follow-up, you can just express that and give us some feedback, and we'll review that and get back with you shortly on that. We really appreciate you spending some of your afternoon with us on this webinar. We hope to see some of our customers and others in the industry at the NHIA conference next week. So we look forward to seeing you there, and then we look forward to seeing everyone on the next Mediware presentation. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.